Welcome back to the channel Coins Collector, another exciting episode on our channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the stories behind some of the most valuable pieces of American history ever minted. If you are passionate about coin collecting or just curious about how something as small and ordinary as a quarter can end up being worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, then you are in the right place. Today we are taking a close look at the legendary 1970 quarter dollar from the United States of America, a coin that has shocked collectors, dealers, and enthusiasts alike with its incredible value. Believe it or not, this little piece of change once used in everyday transactions has reached market values soaring as high as $891,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, nearly $1 million for a single 25-cent piece. Now, before we break down how such a coin could ever be worth that much money, let us set the stage. The year is 1970, the United States is going through a period of change, the Vietnam War is still in progress, cultural shifts are happening everywhere, and the U.S. Mint is continuing its duty of producing millions upon millions of coins for commerce. Among those everyday coins was the quarter dollar, stamped with a D Mint mark to indicate that it was produced at the Denver Mint. To most people at that time, this coin was nothing more than pocket change, useful for a payphone call, a soda from a vending machine, or a bus ride. Nobody thought twice about holding on to one, nobody suspected that decades later collectors would be hunting for it, and nobody would have believed that one day a particular 1970 quarter would be worth more than a luxurious home. The story of this coin is a powerful reminder of how minting errors, limited runs, and unique circumstances can turn an ordinary coin into a priceless treasure. The 1970 quarter became famous not because it was struck in the millions but because a small number of coins carried unusual characteristics, special details, or rare mistakes that transformed them into coveted collector's items. For example, experts discovered that some 1970 quarters were struck over previously minted coins from foreign countries such as Canadian quarters. This kind of minting anomaly is almost impossible to notice with the naked eye unless you know exactly what to look for. Imagine holding a regular-looking American quarter, but under magnification you can see faint remnants of another design hiding beneath the surface. That kind of error makes a coin instantly rare, and rarity is one of the most powerful drivers of value in the numismatic market. Over time, as word spread among collectors about these unusual 1970 quarters, the demand skyrocketed. Collectors love a good mystery, they love something that challenges their knowledge and expands their collection in ways that few others can match. Because the supply of such rare pieces is so tiny compared to the massive demand, the price keeps climbing higher and higher. That is why the market price has reached such astronomical heights, with one of these coins being valued at $891,000. It is almost hard to believe that something you could have pulled out of pocket change is now worth more than some of the most expensive cars in the world, but the value is not only about money. It is also about history, about owning a piece of American culture and craftsmanship that carries a story unlike any other. Think about it for a moment. Each coin is a witness to the past, a silent storyteller that has passed through countless hands, been exchanged for goods, saved in jars, lost in couch cushions, and maybe even traveled across states. And then, after years of circulation, when one of these rare coins finally surfaces, it becomes a symbol of discovery. For the collector who finds it or purchases it, the thrill is not only in the financial gain but in the connection to history and the pride of owning something truly extraordinary. Now let us talk about the design itself, because part of the charm of any coin comes from its artwork. The 1970 quarter features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse side, designed by John Flanagan. This design first appeared on the quarter in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth, and it has since become one of the most iconic images in American coinage. On the reverse side you find the bold and majestic image of the American eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows in its talons, a powerful representation of strength and resilience. Even though these elements were standard for quarters during that era, the unique minting error and the limited production characteristics of the 1970 make it stand out like no other. When we look at the numismatic market today, it is clear that collectors are more passionate than ever. Online auctions, coin shows, and private sales all demonstrate how competitive and thrilling the hunt for rare coins can be. Every year new discoveries are made, sometimes from estate sales, sometimes from old collections that have been sitting untouched for decades, and sometimes from ordinary people simply going through spare change in a jar. Imagine the excitement of realizing that the coin in your hand is worth nearly $1 million. That is the kind of story that inspires people to start collecting, to learn more about history, and to pay attention to the little details that most others overlook. The 1970 quarter has become a symbol of how unpredictable and exciting coin collecting can be. It proves that not every treasure is buried deep underground or hidden away in a locked chest. Some treasures are right there in plain sight, waiting to be discovered in everyday life. It also serves as a lesson to never underestimate the value of what seems ordinary. After all, something as simple as a quarter, a coin you might use without a second thought, could turn out to be a life-changing discovery. So as we continue this video together, I invite you to imagine the journey of this remarkable coin. From its birth at the Denver Mint, through the hands of countless people in the 1970s, to its eventual recognition as one of the most valuable quarters ever known. Its journey is not only about money but about the passion of collectors, the history of America, and the beauty of craftsmanship. By the end of this episode you will understand why the 1970 quarter holds such a special place in the hearts of numismatists and why it commands such extraordinary prices in the market today. With a current estimated value of $891,000, this is not just a coin, it is a piece of art, a slice of history, and a reminder that sometimes the smallest objects can carry the biggest stories. Today we are diving into one of the most exciting stories in the world of American coins and collectibles, a story that has captured the attention of both professional numismatists and everyday hobbyists who simply enjoy the thrill of searching their pocket change. We are going to talk about the 1981 quarter dollar from the United States Mint, a coin that on the surface might look like an ordinary piece of change but in reality holds a fascinating history and in certain cases can be worth truly staggering amounts of money. In fact, some examples of this coin have sold in the market for values reaching as high as $768,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single quarter dollar, originally minted with a face value of just 25 cents, has been valued at more than $750,000. This is the kind of story that gets every collector's heart racing and keeps treasure hunters motivated to keep on searching through their rolls of coins and jars of change. So let us start at the beginning. The 1981 quarter dollar was produced at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small letter D mint mark that appears on the coin. By 1981, the Washington quarter design had already been in use for many decades. It was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Sculptor John Flanagan created the design that featured the familiar profile of Washington on the obverse, the front side of the coin, and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, the back side of the coin. This design remained on American quarters for many years, all the way up until the state quarter program began in the late 1990s. Because of this long period of use, many people tend to overlook quarters from the 1980s and assume that they are common, ordinary coins with no special value beyond their face value. But as collectors know, the real treasure lies in the details. The year 1981 was an interesting time for American coinage. The country was dealing with inflation, economic challenges, and the continuing rise of modern minting technology. At the Denver Mint, millions upon millions of Washington quarters were struck that year. In fact, the total mintage of 1981 quarters was in the hundreds of millions, which on the surface would make them seem very common. But within that massive production run, certain rare variations, minting errors, and high-grade examples have emerged that are so scarce and desirable that collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums of money to own them. And this is where the story of the quarter valued at $768,000 comes into play. When we talk about coin value, there are several factors to consider. The most important are rarity, condition, demand, and historical significance. For the 1981 quarter, rarity comes in the form of special errors or varieties. Minting errors can include things like double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins that were struck on the wrong type of metal blank. Sometimes these errors are caught and destroyed at the mint, but occasionally they slip through quality control and make it into circulation. When collectors discover them years later, they realize they are holding something far more valuable than just a regular coin. Another factor is condition, also known as grade. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition with no scratches or wear can be worth many times more than coins that have been used in circulation for decades. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins and assign them a numerical grade, and the highest possible grades can bring record-breaking prices at auction. The 1981 D quarter that sold for such a massive amount of money was not just any ordinary quarter. It was a coin that combined rarity, condition, and collector demand in a way that created the perfect storm of value. High-grade mint state examples with exceptional luster, strong strike quality, and almost flawless surfaces can command incredible prices, especially when they are part of a rare variety or mint error. This is why collectors all around the world continue to carefully examine their coins, hoping to find that one extraordinary piece that could change their lives. Now let us take a step back and look at the history of the Washington quarter design itself, because understanding the story behind the coin adds to the excitement of collecting. George Washington, as the nation's founding father and first president, has long been a symbol of American freedom, leadership, and resilience. When the $quarter design was updated in 1932, the choice to place Washington's profile on the coin was seen as a fitting tribute. The reverse design with the eagle symbolized strength and unity. By the 1980s, this design had become so familiar that it was almost invisible to the average person. People carried these coins in their pockets, spent them at the store, and dropped them into vending machines without a second thought. But for collectors, each coin carries the weight of history, artistry, and the possibility of hidden value. The market for collectible coins has only grown over the decades. Auctions, coin shows, and online platforms have connected collectors across the globe, driving up demand for rare and unique examples. Stories of ordinary-looking coins selling for extraordinary sums have fueled public interest, and the 1981 D quarter is a perfect example of this phenomenon. Imagine someone discovering such a coin tucked away in an old jar or roll of change. What was once a simple piece of pocket change suddenly transforms into a life-changing discovery worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is the magic of numismatics, the science and art of studying and collecting coins. As of today, the record sale of a 1981 D quarter at $768,000 stands as a reminder that treasures can be hiding in plain sight. While not every quarter from 1981 is worth that much, it is still worth taking a closer look at the coins you come across. Even standard high-grade examples without major errors can still be worth significantly more than face value, sometimes hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the grade and demand. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that represent the best of the best. And when a coin combines rarity, pristine condition, and historical importance, the sky is truly the limit. So in this video, we are going to dive deeper into the story of the 1981 D quarter. We will explore how to identify valuable examples, what types of errors and varieties to look for, how grading works, and why the market has placed such an extraordinary value on certain coins. We will also talk about the broader context of coin collecting, why people are so passionate about this hobby, and how you can get started in the search for your own treasures. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just someone curious about the potential value of the change in your pocket, this is a story that will inspire you to look closer, to learn more, and to appreciate the incredible journey that each coin has taken through history. Stay tuned, because what may seem like just an ordinary Washington quarter could in fact be the key to an incredible story of rarity, value, and discovery. And who knows, maybe the next valuable 1981 D quarter is waiting for you to find it.